Entitled Dad dropped Entitled Kid down waterslide. Waterslides. Most of us love to ride them. This entitled dad liked them a little too much. This was a few summers back, before I became a manager. Entitled Dad dropped his daughter down a waterslide. While I was really not in this story, it was all we talked about at the indoor water park that day. Our cast are Entitled Dad, Entitled Kid, Lifeguard 1 and 2, Manager, and EMTs 1 and 2, who were paramedics. Entitled Dad and Kid were at the water park on a crowded day, so lines were long. They had been there a while and were in line for the body slides. Entitled Kid was about 6. They were annoyed by the long line. Entitled Kid was tired of standing, so Entitled Dad held her. They were nearing the front. Lifeguard 1 is sending everyone down when Lifeguard 2 gives him the signal from the bottom. There are 2 body slides for single riders only. Entitled Dad and Entitled Kid get in line for 1 slide, behind 2 other riders. Lifeguard 1 sent the previous riders. Entitled Kid was getting antsy, and Entitled Dad dropped her face down, and Entitled Kid started to slide down too soon. Lifeguard 1 stopped operations. Entitled Dad in a panic goes down to the same slide. Lifeguard 2 then sees the previous rider. He's still in the pool at the bottom, and Entitled Kid plops down. She was struggling, so Lifeguard 2 jumps in to get her. This was in about 3 feet of water. Entitled Dad comes down at the same time, and he crashes into the Lifeguard 2. The kid somehow got to the wall, and Entitled Dad goes to her. The kid is wailing, and the dad starts screaming at Lifeguard 2. Lifeguard 2 gets a nearby manager, and Entitled Dad starts screaming at the manager. The kid is bleeding and missing her 2 front baby teeth, and Entitled Dad is too busy screaming at the manager, saying to her, "How dare you do this to us? Sending us too soon caught me by surprise, and now Entitled Kid's day's ruined." The manager called an ambulance as a precaution and gets Entitled Kid out of the water. Entitled Kid is quickly tended to by the staff, EMT, and quiets down. The actual EMTs got there and were checking her out. Entitled Dad is still screaming at the manager and starts to threaten the manager. EMT 1 is looking over her, and EMT 2 tries to talk to Entitled Dad. Entitled Dad is then restrained by the cop and taken out of the water park for threats, and he almost attacked the manager. Entitled Kid was okay, lost her baby teeth. Entitled Dad said his daughter's smile was ruined. I only saw Entitled Dad escorted out, and that was the last I heard of it. But Entitled Dad was banned from the water park, and Entitled Kid and Entitled Dad were never seen again. Our next story was posted by user per2squared7, titled, "I got a phone call from an intern's dad." This happened a few months back, but discovering this sub gave me some flashbacks. So I work for a small software company, and for some reason our CEO had decided that we would take in college interns, who we shortlisted from an online portal and selected after a telephone interview. I was in charge of giving 2 of the interns their projects, and I tried hard, quite hard, to give them actual back-end development work because I know how it is to be an ambitious CS major. I ended up giving my 2 interns the task of making an additional feature and a debugger for our existing Java code. Now, my interns seemed quite disappointed and asked if they could work on something C++ or Python because they had experience working with those languages. I told them that I didn't have anything that I can give them which used those 2 languages, so I gave them some additional study material on advanced Java. The next day, both of them meet me individually to ask for something different, and I responded saying I had done all I could to get them something that would interest them. I hoped that that would be the end of it, but it was not to be. Now, as I said earlier, I get why they were disappointed, because all CS majors have super high expectations from their internships, and hope that they can show off their quote-unquote skills. But what came next ticked me off to no end. That very evening, I got a call from the dad of one of the interns. Apparently he works at a big software company. and he demanded I gave his son a better project listing all the coding competitions that his son had won in college. I explained the situation, while trying not to lose my cool, and then he proceeded to tell me why Java is not relevant anymore and how everyone is using Python these days, and how the internship would be irrelevant. He then said that I should listen to him because he works for a big company, and I just work at a startup. I straight up just told him that his son can quit if that is the case, and I hung up before I could lash out further. Thankfully, the rest of the internship went pretty smoothly, and I could pretend that this didn't happen. And our next story was posted by user Senseless Apprentice, titled, "Growing up in the Jehovah's Witness cult, my parents used scripture to justify gaslighting and abuse." Hi, this will be a very personal post, and I don't expect too many to read it. I'm 18 years old, I live at home currently. For the past 18 years, my parents have been abusing me, isolating me, and gaslighting me on purpose, and justifying it with scripture so they felt no guilt from their actions, and have made me question my own sanity. I'm not alone in this. Most witnesses have similar circumstances to my more mild ones. I was never allowed to play school sports because it was deemed bad association. In tandem with this, I was not allowed friends at school because they were deemed bad association. My kingdom hall, or church, was full of old people, so I was alone my entire childhood. My parents did not move when I suggested they move me to a hall where I can have friends because they claimed I should be able to make friends of any age, just like our Watchtower publications state. And it's my fault that I don't have any friends. My isolation from others my age started a downward spiral. The worse I got mentally, the worse my parents treated me, and that cycle repeated. Soon, I started getting bullied at school because I was an outcast by my parents' bidding. And then after that, the witnesses' kids started bullying me too because I didn't live close to them, so I didn't have any social skills. This caused me to have a very negative view of myself, and I started locking myself in my room and forcing myself not to feel the emotional pain because I didn't have people to talk to. When I tried telling my parents, they mocked me. My father would tell me I need to man up. My mother wanted nothing to do with it. She would mock my whines. So, I didn't talk to them about my problems anymore. Soon, I developed major depression, and I didn't know how to express my emotions anymore. It took years of therapy to reverse the damage I or my parents caused me. During these years, my parents would tell me my problems were all in my head, that it's all just a mind game, and if I think hard enough, I can change it, and that I'm stupid if I can't. When I stopped having motivation to do things, they called me worthless, selfish, unlovable, a piece of crap. They told me they wished I was disfellowshipped, so they didn't have to deal with me every day because I was too much for them to deal with. They screamed at me daily, and I kept getting worse and worse. It felt like my brain was progressively shutting down. All my panic attacks, all my depressive episodes, they viewed as defiance, rebellion, and disrespect. They viewed it as a challenge to Jehovah God and would sit me down and read scripture to me about how I need to be obedient to my parents. They justify them getting angry by saying I pushed them over the edge and they can't control themselves anymore. But I don't ever get to act out because I'm a child and I serve them. My mother calls me her slave. My father one night threw me into the front door and broke the window on my body because I was anxious about going to church that night. He screamed at me and told me he hated me and that I'm disgusting in front of my 9-year-old brother and 4-year-old sister. Ever since I was little, I was scared of losing my mind. They put me on medication that they knew was going to screw me up, because last time I was on that drug, I was hospitalized for suicidal ideation. I had medical-induced psychosis for 3 months before they did anything about it. I couldn't shower. I saw things that weren't there. I heard things. I would disassociate for 20 minutes at a time. I was in what was considered a stage 4 mental crisis. They would liken it to stage 4 cancer, and they'd try to never let people get there. I was there for 3 months, and my parents beat me, berated me, and told me I was worthless throughout it. I'm going to be honest, I don't expect many to read this. I'm writing this for closure. I'm not sure this sub fits perfectly because my parents aren't just entitled, they're abusive. But I still struggle with my feelings of loneliness every day. My medicine F-ups were never completely fixed, and now I'm not as sharp as I used to be. My family is constantly telling me it's all a lie, and I do it to myself to make me question my own sanity more than anything. Maybe I do. Maybe it is me. They tell me they aren't abusive and I lie for attention, and it makes me feel like I'm going insane. They mock me if I tell them I'll call the police when they hit me. It makes me really confused and I don't know what to do. And our next story was posted by user JamesTheBoss18, titled, Entitled Parents Think I'm About to Stab Because I Wore a Hoodie in Bright Daylight, which was actually rain. So this happened about 5 days ago, and I'm still stunned to the core. Our cast are Entitled Mother, Not Entitled Kid, me, the shady murder apparently, and Police Lady. So I was doing my usual Saturday morning thing. Went to town I live near to get some newspapers for my dad to fall asleep halfway through, some lunch for later, and some Reese's Pieces because why not? It was raining this particular morning, so I pulled out my red hoodie so I don't get wet. I get to the shop and notice a woman with a kid give me the stink eye. I think nothing of it, chain up my bike, do the usual, and tie my new stuff to my backpack. I'm about to head home when I feel a tapping on my shoulder. It had stopped raining at this point, and the woman was standing behind me. This conversation ensued. Entitled Mother:
What's wrong with you?
Me: Excuse me, what?
Don't play dumb. You know what I'm talking about.
Me: I have literally never seen you in my life.
So why are all you kids today so edgy?
What the? Look, lady, I just want to go home and have my lunch. I slowly take my keys for my bike chain out of my pocket and start walking away. She then screams like a crazy bat and slaps the key out of my hand.
Reach!
My heart stops as it clinks down to the pavement and just barely misses the storm drain. What the frick is wrong with you?
Keep that knife away from me, you idiot! I'm calling the police and you'll be in prison for the rest of your life!
I grab my key and sprint for the car park. I get there, take my key out, and start unlocking my bike. Put my collection of food in the back of a small basket that I drilled onto the mudguard, and I'm about to take off when a woman shouts,
Hey you! Stop!
Me, thinking that this day can't get any worse, go, What now? Entitled Mother:
That's the boy who attacked me with a knife!
Police Officer:
Come with me, young man.
Wait, what? What knife?
Don't play invalid! The one you pulled out at us! Arrest him now!
Listen, you crazy tramp. I don't have any knives, swords, or switchblades, or katanas.
Sir, please empty your pockets. I will be the judge of that.
I start emptying my pockets. Some loose change, a button from my shirt, my wallet, and a half-eaten pack of Skittles was all I had. Entitled Mother:
He could be hiding it in his bag.
Sir, if you please.
I opened up my bag. All there is a box of eclairs, some pastries, 2 Scotch eggs, a litre bottle of lemonade, and about 3/4 of urn brew. The police officer is pretty convinced and lets me go. I didn't hear what the police officer said to the entitled mother, as I was too busy pedaling like a madman to get the frick out of there. Hope you guys enjoy this. Sorry if it wasn't as cool as you expected. Howdy ho, Markee Army. Hope you enjoyed that episode as always. If you want to subscribe, click that big boy button on screen, and listen to my latest playlist as well by clicking the other bad boy. If there's anything you guys want to talk about, have a chat, what did you think of the episode? Please tell me what you thought of the episode down in the comments. I thought some of these were very realistic. Tell me what you think about that. And As always, I hope you just have a good day, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!